all the viewers. Myself Arshdeep Singh, and you are watching my video presentation on a project semester training. So right now I'm working as an intern in a company called Edifecs Technologies. My project is on enrollment management for healthcare companies. So first of all, let me tell you something about Edifecs. Edifecs is a leading firm providing IT solutions to all the healthcare companies across US, and currently it is also handling projects outside US. So for explaining you my project, I have to explain you about US healthcare system. Now, what exactly I'm talking about is that in US healthcare is very different from other countries. So what happens is that every person in US is required to have their insurance. Okay, so if you are sick, then you cannot be refused um, healthcare in US. That is what Obamacare is all about. So without getting in all the details, first of all, I'll explain you some terms that I'll be frequently using in my presentation. So a pair is any insurance company. Now what happens is that in US there is a governing body called CMS, and CMS handles all the healthcare related information. Now it's a government organization, and it constantly updates healthcare according to new rules and regulations, right? So all the insurance companies need to send the healthcare information about every person in US to this body, and this body has a specific standard of files like 834, 837, 270. Now it's not important that every insurance company will be dealing with the standard file, and if it is dealing, then it's not you know recommended that not recommended. I would say that it's not possible that every hospitals or healthcare institutes would have access or would know how to use these standard files, right? So what happens is Edifecs bridges this gap. Okay, so what Edifecs does is conversion of different file formats according to the needs of companies. Now a patient will go to a hospital for his or her treatment, and he or she would not have to pay it directly to the hospital, whereas she'll say that I have insurance, my healthcare insurance to this or this company, and that hospital will file a claim to that company to see if he or she is enrolled in that insurance company, right? So that can be a file based or a computer based or anything, but the CMS FM body wants a specific standard set, right? Where was I? I was telling you about how that hospital files a claim to that insurance company. Now that insurance company replies to the hospital if or he or she is enrolled in a specific plan in that company, right? And that information also needs to be sent to CMS. So that scenario is different for every company. Okay, so this was all about US healthcare. I don't know if I am able to convey my message, but if you didn't understand anything, you can check out Edifecs website. Maybe it will help you, or CMS website, or you can directly search on Google about uh, healthcare in US, right? So yeah, Edifecs headquarters is in Bellevue, Washington, US, and it's a US based company. I'm working in Mohali office, okay, and it has other offices in around 6 locations in India and many other across the world. So let me come directly to my project. What I'm trying to do is I'm right now working in enrollment management specific department in Edifecs. So what we do is we process 834 files and only 834 files. Okay, so my project is on enrollment management and how we process all these files. So what we do is according to the different requirements of the customers, they might receive files in flat files that are delimited, or positional flat files, or they might have their own different format, or they might actually use A34 format. So we process all these files, we make them in a common transaction that will be able to process by Edifecs products, and we transmit it to different bodies according to what the client needs. Okay, so Edifecs is a leading solution. Edifecs has leading solutions for all these healthcare information. But right now I'll be only dealing with enrollment management and what all other products are needed for processing of the transactions, right? So I have already told you about this. Just let me explain you about different products that we will be using. So we'll be using XCS, that is X Engine server. That is a backend product provided by Edifecs that validates all these transactions. It works with X Engine. And ENR, as I already told you, is enrollment management that works on top of transaction management. It's another product of Edifecs. And Smart Trading has various products which will be used for transaction visibility tracking and dashboards. Okay, so the architecture of the project is not very difficult to understand if you are aware about EDI, electronic data interchange. But if you are not, then I'll have a pretty difficult time explaining to you. But nonetheless, let me try it. Okay, so X Engine, as you're watching it on the screen, is a backend product that validates and verifies the guidelines. Like if a file is received from a provider, that is a hospital or any healthcare organization that provides healthcare services, right? It validates those files according to standard guidelines. Then after the validation, how we do that validation is by using a product named Spec Builder. It's another Edifecs product. And then after the validations and all the mappings that is also done in Spec Builder, we upload it on the transaction manager and to see if the file that is coming is according to the standards of the insurance company or to where the outbound of the file is, right? So the techniques that we'll be using is a standard SDLC lifecycle: requirement analysis, system design, implementation, testing, deployment. Sorry, so that's nothing different from any other application or product lifecycle. So let me directly come to Spec Builder. Spec Builder is an environment for which we create guidelines and test our files. We can also map all these files to different formats, like that will be needing for processing on routes or profiles. That is also another Edifecs product. I know it's difficult, but just hang on to it. You'll get to the flow. Now just imagine that a patient visits the hospital and for any operation or anything, and hospital will file a claim. That claim will directly come to Edifecs because Edifecs is the intermediary body, and that claim will be processed by Edifecs, and we as implementation consultants will validate that file through Spec Builder. And how we'll do that? We'll create standard guidelines that verify it, and after creating those guidelines, we'll map it to a different format which will be processed further in Edifecs Application Manager. Now this is the route. Now this is the place where that file will go, right? And that file will be further processed through customizations that is different for every other company. Like there may be other insurance companies, or there may be third party companies that process these transactions. But what Edifecs will do is just process these according to customizations of the client, right? it may be anything. Now all these are configured and customized to a different file format, and this route it is processed. After that, when it passes through EM, it is directly uploaded to enrollment management. Now this is a screenshot of agreements where we create agreements. That is a whole another level of mm, know how we process these transactions. So yeah, that was all about that. Now what I learned in by doing all that is that uh, I have learned about EDI, which is electronic data engine, and it is it is a technology which is used by most of the companies where that deals with healthcare or any other mm, technologies related to healthcare. So yeah, US healthcare system that I was explaining you earlier, and Edifecs products, right? So I have been constantly working on these products since my day one in this organization, and I've been constantly learning about them, right? So yeah, that I have already explained you about. This is a smart trading products that Edifecs offers: Spec Builder, Xengine, Server. Okay, so yeah, this is the whole flow that maybe if you haven't got, or if you have missed anything, or if you haven't understood anything, you will get an idea by looking to these diagrams. So first of all, input is the guidelines. Guidelines will validate the files coming from the hospital, that the claim files or the enrollment files or anything, and that is validated by spec builder. Spec builder further checks this by mapping those guidelines or migrating those guidelines, and after the mapping, then it's passed through EM, which is the routing logic, and after processing it through the routes and applying all those customizations, it is uploaded to ENR, which is on top of TM. Okay, so this is the internal logic. The data file and the parser linker, you know passes those and translates those to the target data, and what is having is the guidelines that are validating and the mapping which is happening, that will convert it to a different file format altogether. Now key points about that is creating guidelines, then mapping, then customizing, then uploading it to the client side or to the wherever it needs to be sent, wherever the client needs it to be sent. Maybe CMS, it may be another provider, it may be an insurance company or anything. So yeah, it's important. If you have noticed, I have not shown you any product or how it works, or the working of actual product, because I'm bounded by a confidentiality agreement, and if I break it, I I may have a case on me, or a fine or something, whatever. But it's confidential, so I'm bounded to show you only the screenshots of all those products. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video presentation, and I hope that you learned even a bit. Mm, okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if you learned anything, but if you did, then thank you.